Good afternoon, members of the media, and thanks for coming. I'm here to advise that the Ministry of Transport can confirm that there's a labor dispute between the Department of Public Transportation and the Bermuda Industrial Union's bus division over the end of summer pick of work in preparation for the start of the school term on September 9th, which is due to commence today, Monday, August 16th, in accordance with Schedule 10 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement between the Government of Bermuda and the Bermuda Industrial Union. It must be noted that the government has met its obligation under Schedule 10 of the agreement. We aim to deliver reliable and consistent public bus service for commuters. The proposed schedule ensures no redundancies, no loss of work hours for the operators, and greater flexibility for the operators, while simultaneously giving the community the benefits and an ability to enjoy reliable, consistent bus service with little to no cancellations. The parties met this morning and have reached an impasse. The matter is currently with the Minister of Labor, and we anticipate that the disruption in the bus service will continue tomorrow morning, and it is recommended for commuters to use alternative transportation. The ministry appreciates the public's patience and will provide an update at noon tomorrow. Thank you.
Members of the media, any questions?
Minister, good afternoon. Thank you. First of all, it would appear that this dispute arose because, according to the union, the winter schedule wasn't posted in a timely manner. Is that correct? Do you agree with that?
No, I do not agree with that. As I stated before, we met our obligations under Section 10 of the agreement, and so it was posted on time and prior to the deadline.
And when was the deadline?
That would have been Friday.
And it was posted on Friday?
Yes.
So you said you met with the union this morning and there's an impasse. What's the impasse? What's the stumbling block if you met your obligations? What are the union telling you?
I think it would be best for me to turn that over to the director of DPT.
Good afternoon, members of the media. The provision in the CBA allows for up to 4 picks of work per year. One of those picks must be at the beginning of the summer and one at the end of the summer. Traditionally, the rosters that are picked at the beginning of the summer are the summer rosters, which encompasses the public bus schedule work without the school work because the schools are on vacation. Traditionally, at the end of summer, we would pick the winter rosters, which includes for the public bus schedule plus the school bus schedule. However, because of the resource shortages within the department, vis-a-vis buses and operators, we recognize and we have demonstrated throughout last year that we have insufficient resources to reliably and consistently meet both the public bus and the school bus schedule. Therefore, the ministry has elected to organize and focus the DPT resources, i.e. bus operators and DPT buses, around providing a reliable public bus schedule while seeking alternative solutions for the provision of the school bus schedule. The collective bargaining agreement does not specify which rosters or which schedule the work must be organized around for the pick. It simply specifies the number of picks and the frequency of picks. The needs of the business change, and as the needs of the business change, management must have the ability to adjust, adapt, and allocate the resources to most efficiently meet the services of the community.
So what you're saying is that you now don't have the resources, be it manpower or buses, to carry out both the general public schedule and the school schedule. You said you were looking at alternatives to provide a service for the school schedule. Is that correct?
Yes, this is no different from where we were last year this time, except that when we got to labor relations and conciliation process to resolve the impasse, it was agreed that we would again entertain and execute on the winter rosters, albeit an inefficient use of the resources. It includes a lot more downtime, and it does not efficiently deploy the resources that we have at our disposal to minimize cancellations. What we do see is that when we go into the summer rosters during the breaks, our resources are sufficient just to reliably provide the public bus schedule. And so that is what we want to deliver to the public by having a temporary measure of departing from the winter rosters, which is traditionally what we would pick at this time, and focusing our resources on the public bus schedule, i.e. the summer rosters, and providing additional resources to provide the school bus schedule.
And what are those additional resources?
I will let the minister speak to that. Yeah.
I think it would be a good time to highlight that we are no longer in 1990, no longer in the year 2000, no longer in the year 2010. And what we need to do is ensure that public service and public bus service keeps up with the times. And so with COVID and with the impact that it has on our budget and the impact it has had on our fleet, we need to ensure that we provide consistent, reliable service. So this is why we are adjusting from the status quo to amending and making sure that our bus service is up to the time in conjunction with the resources that we have available.
So who's going to be providing the school service?
Right now, we are in talks with the Ministry of Education to make sure that we provide the adequate service that is needed through alternative options and resources.
And what are those alternative options and resources?
I think that this is not the best time to discuss.
I think it is.
No, I don't think that this is the best time to discuss what the resources are, as you know that we are going to be ready to have dedicated service for our students come September.
And is it going to be put out to private companies?
I think that this is not the time for us to discuss the school runs, as we are actually talking about the public bus service as a whole.
Yes, but the reason why the public bus service has been disrupted today and tomorrow is because there appears to be this issue between government and the union over a reduction of service. Because from what you're insinuating, the school service is going to be put out to private companies.
Actually, it's not a reduction of service. It is providing a more efficient bus service.
But nevertheless, it's going to mean less work for
No,
bus drivers.
that
will
is
it not?
incorrect.
Compared to
I
previous winter schedules.
must correct you there. It is not less work for the bus drivers. There are no reduction in hours. There's no redundancy. Bus operators will be working the same amount of hours, if not more, with this summer schedule.
But would there be, is it less hours than the regular winter schedule? That's the point.
No.
But no? So it comes back to the same question. Why is the union not satisfied?
That is a question you would have to ask the president of the BIU.
And you said you had a similar situation a year ago, and you met with the unions and there were talks and discussions. Did you meet with the unions in the previous weeks up until today when the winter schedule was meant to be posted to sort of warn them that perhaps the same thing was going to be happening again, or did it just come out of the blue?
I think it would be, this is a perfect time, and I'm glad that you asked that question. I met with the president of the BIU in January of this year. The director met with the BIU executive in February of this year to discuss this matter. I then mentioned this on the House of Assembly in March during the budget debate. And we have recently spoken to the unions about this in a general meeting in June of this year. So this is not something that has just come out of the blue. And so I believe that most of your questions would be better suited for that of the president of the BIU.
One final question, Minister. There have been several disputes with bus operators in the last 6 months or so. Do you think that relations between the BIU and the Progressive Labour Party government are deteriorating? And if so, what would you attribute that to?
No, I don't think that the relationship is deteriorating at all. I believe that both parties are looking out for the best interest of those that they represent.
And how long do you see this strike going on? Is it a case of if it goes on for several days, then it's just referred to arbitration? Do you think that's
So we've already referred it to the Minister of Labor, who once he gazettes it, if they deem it necessary, or they deem it necessary to gazette it. Once it is gazetted, my understanding is that all industrial action must cease while we go through deliberations and arbitration.
Minister, thanks so much. Director, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the press conference. Thank you, Royal Gazette, for coming. Minister, thank you. And Director Roger Todd, thank you as well.